You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the December 16th, 2024 meeting of the Michigan City Board of Public Works and Safety. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good afternoon. The time is 4 o'clock. I'll call to order the Board of Works and Public the Board of Public Works and Safety for Monday, December 16th, 2024. I'll call the roll. Mr. Simmons is absent. Ms. Tisdale?
Present.
Ms. Smith is absent. Ms. Moore?
Present.
Chair is here. Mr. York is here. Attorney LePage?
Here.
And Madam Clerk is here. So we have a quorum, we can handle business. Okay. Our first order of business today is approval of minutes from our regular hybrid Zoom meeting for December 2nd, 2024. Are there any questions on the minutes or changes to those minutes?
Motion to approve. Second.
I'll call for the vote. Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next on our agenda is collective bargaining agreement. This is approval of a collective bargaining agreement between the International Union of Operation Engineers, Local 150, Public Employees Division, and the City of Michigan City from January 1st, 2025 to December 31st of 2029. I do believe Miss LePage can help us and try to explain some of the changes, if any, in this document.
Sure. Just for the public's awareness, the operating engineers, they are a representative of our mechanics at the city. We have, I think, 5 or less mechanics that are responsible for all of our vehicle fleets. They do a tremendous job. Their contract was up, so this will be from 25 through 29. The key points for this is we added the one-time bonus for next year, and the amount not to exceed $1,200, just like we did for the rest of the city employees. There will be wage reopeners in 2026, 20, yeah. God, that sounds so weird saying 2026, 27, and 28. What else did we do with this? We had to clean up a little bit of language, and we also, the other key point is we added the birthday holiday.
Sure. Birthday, I remember that one. Any questions of Ms. LePage on the contract? Okay, hearing none, I'll open it up for public comment. Any public comment on this item? Any public comment on this item? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to close public comment. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Support.
Call for the roll. Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you, Attorney LePage. All right, our next order of business is a resolution. This is resolution number 2841. And this resolution is accepting the dedication of Woodland Ridge Phase 1 street and right-of-ways. And I can tell you what this is. They have finished their Phase 1 of right-of-way in here. The Phase 1 is what you see outlined here for the public's knowledge. At this time, they're basically asking us to accept the dedication of just this street. That would be the pavement, guttering, anything in the street right of way. And the other exhibit attached to this is the actual right of way sizes. So it tells you that it's 50 feet of right of way here. And then the third piece of this is a letter from the city engineer asking us to dedicate this. I do know that Tim Warner, our city engineer, was there for all the proof rolling and testing on site. And I think he told me he was very pleased with these roads. So They will need to come back at a later time once they install their street lights, and we will have to accept those. They're just not in yet, and they will be installing those in the spring. And at that time, we'll have to accept those and add them into our inventory of street lights. So that's something later on. But as of right now, just the streets. Any questions on that? Questions? Okay, I'll open up for public comment. Any public comment on this?
Yes, Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. There's just one thing I think is kind of important to mention. They need to make sure you have a convenient stop or turnaround for Route 2 of the Michigan City Municipal Transit when this Woodland Ridge comes in. That was something that really wasn't done when the new St. Anthony Hospital was built, and there's been issues with that. So that's all I just want to mention. It's really important. The one things I always look at is if it's going to be on the fixed bus route, and other things like if it's going to add to the population and enrollment of the schools, and if it's going to be on the tax rolls. Thank you.
It will definitely be on the tax rolls. I can tell you that. Any other public comment on this item? Okay, hearing none, I'll close public comment. Any other questions about this, or do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve. Support.
I'll call for the vote. Ms. Tisdale,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
chair votes aye as well. Thank you. Okay. Our next order of business is a temporary construction easement. This is approval of a temporary construction easement between the city of Michigan City and the county of LaPorte, Indiana, for a project to reconstruct and replace bridge number 512 along Michigan Boulevard. And that's the bridge right after Johnson Road. If you may recall, for the public's knowledge, I know we don't refer to them as 512 or Bridge 512 very often. I can tell you a little bit about this. Me and Amber have been working on this for, over a year now. We're finally bringing it to you for approval. But basically what they're going to do, this easement is granting a construction easement. So it's a temporary easement for them to actually use a piece of land just east of the bridge to actually stage and construct off of that land. So that's essentially what it is. The reason why they're doing this right now is that NDOT likes to have these in ahead of time before they provide the funding for the actual project itself. So that's where it is. That's what it is. Any questions of that? I would also say that once we execute it, the county will then execute it, reciprocate with an execution back to us. Ms. LePage, I hope I did it.
The only thing I think is the project, I believe it's supposed to commence next year in April and take approximately a little over a year. So to the end of August 2026, possibly.
Yes.
Beginning of August.
And I know that Engineer Werner is working with the county on this, since it is in our it's in our city, but it belongs to the county. So any questions? Any other questions of Amber or myself on this one? Okay. Hearing none, I'll open up for public comment. Any public comments on this?
Yeah, Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. But this actually is the old Paluski Quick Stop property. We acquired that back in 2014. That was kind of one of the big crowning achievements of Mayor Ron Mears' administration was getting. That was kind of supposed to be like an access for Trail Creek. So have this go through, and Mary, we need to do something with that. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Other public comment? Hearing none, I'll close public comment. Any other questions of Amber or I'm sorry, Attorney LePage or myself? Okay, hearing none, I'll just entertain a motion. You make a motion? I'll make a motion to approve this.
Support.
Call for the vote. Ms. Tisdale,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
chair votes aye as well. Thank you very much. All right. Our next order of business is a contract. Contract between the City of Michigan City and Sarah Group for services and terms and conditions to develop a website for the Park Department, Fire Department, and Police Department. Attorney LePage, have you reviewed this and everything is in place?
I have. So As you know, that Sierra Group is working on the general cities website, and in that process, it was carved out that really the park, police, and fire need their own separate websites, given the nature of what they do. So Sierra Group put together a budget and proposal to develop that in the amount of $20,000. The funding was already approved through ARPA funds for this.
Any questions of Attorney LePage? And yeah, I know they're actively working on our website right now, and we'll have it up and running soon, hopefully. Okay, hearing none, I'll open it up for public comment. Any public comment on this item? Any public comment? Going once, going twice. All right, I'll close public comment. Any other questions, or do I hear a motion?
Now motion to approve.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Ms. Tisdale,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
chair votes aye as well. And we appreciate them submitting this and getting these other websites up and going. Next order of business is a contract. This is an agreement for professional. I'm sorry, I missed one. I apologize. I'm being back up. It is still a contract, but it's a contract between the City of Michigan City, and Sarah Group for ongoing support and content assistance for the Michigan City Municipal website for a 1-year period. And I do believe this will be the website once it gets up and running to help us maintain that, upload things to it or
That's
change
exactly what
things.
it is. And it's for 1 year. ARPA funding would pay for it. After that 1 year, our IT department's going to assess it and see if they just can't take it over. But for the first year, we determined that we would like them to continue just for at least a year before IT comes in and assesses the situation.
And it looks like this is for $17,400 for the annual.
Yes.
And I think, oh. Did
I'm not sure why they did that. Oh. Mhm.
oh,
No, I'm
it's
sorry.
both.
It's both.
It's both
the
together.
5,700 plus the 17,400.
it's
So it
both
is the
together.
22.
22. Yeah. Okay, so the support and ongoing assistance, got it, for $22,100. Okay. And there is support here for it being funded, and it is funded out of the ARPA funds as well. Any questions of Attorney LePage? You've reviewed it and everything's good?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions on this one? Hearing none, I'll open it up for public comment. Public comment?
Yes, Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. I'm really excited about the new website. I think Mayor Angie told us it's gonna be launched in February. Things gotta be better than that joke of a website we got now. I remember we put that in 2015. That was kind of went hand in hand with the Create, Play, Repeat, Roger Brooks International Plan. Craig Phillips and Rich Murphy and Ron Meir. I'm just happy maybe it'll be a lot easier to get on the agenda for the Board of Works now. This is getting in. Thank you.
Yeah, let's Mr. Euler, you got your hand raised. You have a comment?
I do. Good evening, Coda Euler, 718 Emma Street. I just wanted to thank Sarah Group for his attentiveness and making sure that we get all of its worth. Sarah Group is an award-winning company in Northwest Indiana, and they obtain top ratings for desired searches and have a qualified team that's crucial in building a good website for us. And I just wanted to take a moment to thank Sarah Group and all their efforts. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Any other public comments? Any other public comments? Anything online? Okay, I will close public comments. Do I hear any other questions from the board, or do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Ms. Tisdale,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
chair votes aye as well, and I echo the sentiment. I really think Sarah Group, they are a great company. Next order of business is another contract. This is an agreement for professional legal services for the benefit of the Michigan City Historic Review Board, the Planning Commission, and the Board of Zoning Appeals for 2025 in the amount of $2,500 per month. And this is for attorney fee, legal representation and attorney fees for those boards. So basically, we've combined we combined payment for the boards. I'm sorry, I may have said that wrong, Attorney LePage.
So this board may recall that we just retained Steve Hale towards the end of this year to start helping with the historic review. We thought it best just to put all three boards into one contract. We do have funding for it. Attorney Hale's regular, normal, customary matters would include just providing advice to the boards, attendance at meetings, special meetings, workshops, any kind of legal research for those boards as necessary. Steve is a very seasoned attorney with a lot of experience, so we're very lucky to have his guidance on these boards.
Yes, I would echo that. He's a very seasoned and a very good land use attorney. Very, very knowledgeable and a lot of history with Michigan City. Any questions of Attorney LePage? And this would be for basically his just to retain him for these boards. So, I'll open up for public comment. Any public comments on this item? Any public comments? Okay, hearing none, I'll close public comments. Any other questions of Attorney LePage on this item? Okay, do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Support?
I'll call for the vote. Ms. Tisdale,
Aye.
Ms. Moore,
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you. The next order of business is an insurance policy renewal. Transplant insurance policy renewal. This is transplant insurance policy renewal for the City of Michigan City employees. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. Good. How are you?
Very good.
Good. Eric Gibson with GIS. So I'm here to talk about two things, relatively simple. So we do have your fully insured transplant policy that's come up for renewal. We have included this in the renewal calculations over the last several months. We estimated 10% on the increase. It actually came in around 16. That being said, they're relatively small dollars, with about $7,000 increase over the course of the year. From a budgetary perspective, we're actually still ahead of the budget because we are discontinuing Edison Health due to low utilization, as well as eliminating the fee for Springbuck. So that'll be about a $20,000 savings there as well. So I have that renewal, and then also Symetra, which is the stop loss policy. They're requesting that you guys actually sign a policy acceptance. So it's just a signature, stating that they've received everything, policy is enforced, you guys are acknowledging that.
Okay.
Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Ms. Moore.
I'm not familiar with this transplant policy. What does it?
Yeah, so
Yeah, tell us about it.
as
Yeah.
you can imagine, an organ transplant is a very expensive thing. So you guys have a self-funded policy for the insurance purposes. So we just carve out the transplant and say, we're going to fully insure that singular piece and pay a really small PEPM, which is a per employee per month fee for that. So somebody ever needs a transplant, that's not going to hit our stop loss. It's not going to be out of the county's, or out of the city's funds.
Is it elective for the employee to do, or is that just?
It's
Every-
already included. So if anybody actually needed a transplant, this would cover it.
Excellent. And can you tell us a little bit about the Symetra as well, just for knowledge?
Yeah, sure. So this is the stop loss policy. So within a self-funded program, so the city is responsible for a certain threshold of claims dollars. Anything above that, there is an overlay of insurance. That's just what this policy is.
Okay. Excellent. Attorney LePage, you have any comments on this?
No, thank you.
Okay. Any questions? Any other questions? Good afternoon, Mr. Simmons. Do you have any questions on this, Mr. Simmons? I know you just got here. You just walked in. I don't want to put you on the spot.
No, not at the time.
Okay. I'll open it up for public comments at this time. Any public comments on these two items? Any public comments? Okay, I'll close public comments. thank you for presenting this to us.
Of course.
Do I hear a motion or any other comments, any other questions? I'll make a motion to approve these two items. Do we need to vote on them separately or as one?
It just depends on how you make your motion.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve, let me see here. That we approve the transplant insurance policy renewal. And that we provide us the signature sign off to Symetra.
Yeah.
As well.
Perfect.
Does that cover it?
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons, would you like to vote? Aye. Okay. Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. I really appreciate you bringing this to us and thank you for doing this for us.
Thank you.
Okay, my next order of business today is a contract. This is the special events department. Department is requesting the following. Approval of a contract between the City of Michigan City and the Sand Lovers LLC for consulting services for the 2025 Singing Sand Sculpting Festival. And also approval of a contract between the City of Michigan City and the Sand Lovers LLC for event management services for the 2025 Singing Sands Sculpting Festival. Mr. Greetham, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Terry Greetham, Michigan City Special Events. These two contracts are basically the same contracts that we signed last year for the event. There are no rate changes to either contract. The only change to the contract are the dates. We're moving the event from the beginning of June to July 18th, 19th, and 20th. And those dates have been reviewed and approved by the Michigan City Park and Recreations Department.
Is that just a better date for you guys or just?
A couple reasons. The beginning of June, we ran into an issue with high school graduation, as well as there was another event in Washington Park the following weekend. July 18th, 19th, and 20th were the dates that were previously held by the Aquacross Grand Prix jet ski races, and those are no longer happening. And due to our surprise early summer, late spring weather that we've had the last 3 years, I'm going to try and get through an entire weekend without 40-mile-an-hour winds. So yeah, I think it's going to work better, and it works really well for the Sand Lovers as well.
Excellent. Any questions of Director Greetham? Okay. I'll open up for public comment. Any public comment on this item? Any public comment? Okay, I will close public comment. How would you like for us to handle this, Attorney LePage? Same or do them in separate?
You can do them in the same motion.
Okay, and then have you reviewed the contracts? You're
Yes.
good with them? Okay. Do I hear a motion to that effect? Would someone like to make that?
Motion to approve the contract for the consulting services and the management services for the Singing Sands Sculpting Fest.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons? Aye. Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Director Greetham. The next order of business is the closing of nominations. This is approval to close the nominations for the Fire Merit Commission. And probably just needed a motion to close. I think we opened them last time, so we're just closing, right?
Madam Clerk, have you received any nominations?
Yes, I did receive one nomination to reappoint Michael Nylub's position from Chief Bear Taylor.
Okay. So then you still need a motion.
We still need a motion.
But you may want to open it, Brew, even though I don't see anybody here.
Is there, at this time, I'll open it up for any other nominations that may be out in the audience or online to.
No, it can only be a
It may
member
only
of
in
the
person,
fire.
only in person. Anyone here would like to submit a motion?
No.
Or I'm sorry, a nomination?
Only a member of the fire department.
Oh.
It can't be everybody and their mother.
Oh, no, it's, got it.
Okay.
Would any member of the fire department like to submit who might be out in the audience, like to submit a nomination at this time? If none, we'll close. I'll ask that we close nominations for the Fire Merit Commission. Do I hear a motion to that effect?
Motion to close nominations.
I'll second. Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons? Aye. I'm sorry, Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Do we need to make a motion to recommend them to send the recommendation over?
No, so since there's one nomination, Mr. Nyla will get it by default. Again, there's no need for an election. He'll just have to come in and take his oath. I believe he's the Democratic
Yes.
appointment. Okay, and so now we'll still have an open seat for the Republican appointment. So once again, they're gonna have to come back and ask for
Opening.
nominations again. So hopefully someone at the fire department will make a nomination.
So at some point in time, we're gonna have to reopen, take nominations and close again. Okay. Okay.
So technically, by virtue of our ordinance, that current appointment, oh my God, I can see his face. I can't remember his name.
Regulature.
Yes,
Greg
Mr. Deutscher still technically stands in that seat until such time as he's replaced.
Okay. And I'm sure that the firemen know this, so we'll just wait for them to ask for reopening. Is there anything else that is there anything else we need to do with this item? Okay. Okay, our next order of business is a contract award recommendation. The Michigan City Sanitation District is requesting the approval of award recommendation to Reith Riley for the Michigan City Annexation Area Sanitation Sewer Extension Project in the amount of $1,449,955.50. Good morning.
Good afternoon.
How you doing? Or good afternoon. Jeez, I'm off today because I've been out of town for most of the day. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Casey Gelston, business manager for the Michigan City Sanitary District. How is everyone?
Good.
Good. Just want to report that we had the opening bid October 23rd, which we had 5 bidders that were properly bidded. This was then turned over to our attorney, Mr. Jewel Harris, who reviewed everything, then turned it over to Haas Associates, who came back with a recommendation on November 13th that, of course, that Reith Riley was the lowest bidder and the accepted bidder and properly bid. At that point, because of the coincidence with our board meeting, we had a board meeting at 11:20, and our board approved this group as Reith Riley getting a contract. We then are bringing it to the Board of Works to get approval from you. It's been vetted through Christine Vanderberg.
Excellent.
Through to make sure that everything was properly done.
Excellent. Any questions of Mr. Yagelski? Any questions about the project, Mr. Yagelski?
This is the case, what they call it, which is the sewer extension that's the annexation that's going beyond the airport properties.
Six would appreciate that.
Yes, absolutely.
Should be very nice. Big
Absolutely.
project. You come in way below budget.
I was gonna, can you tell us a little bit about that, please? Just the budget. I think the budget originally was 6 million and then it went to 7 and now it come in at 3.5.
Correct. And then this is in conjunction with the water department, of course,
Yes.
also. So
Yes.
it's a dual bid because of the water is going out in the same location.
Yes, absolutely.
So it really came in considerably lower with the approval of the second appendix that goes with it. So really it turned out successful. We're very pleased with the bidding process.
Excellent. That's good news. I'll open up for public comments. Any public comments at this time? Any public comments on this item? Ernie, Mr. Callahan, you got a question?
Callahan, is this properties that they've annexed into the city?
That's right. This is the annexation. This annexation took place in, 2019, if I'm not mistaken. This was 429 acres of property that was annexed, where the cemetery was or is, and then across the street is known as the Olmsted property and the Radke properties, right behind, just south of Millennium Business Park.
Okay.
Yep.
that doesn't.
It's just been awaiting to get the infrastructure out there. And now here we are awarding.
It goes all the way over to Mirror Road.
Yeah.
Oh, that's including that project they got going on Mirror Road.
It doesn't include any projects. It's just vacant land right now, but by
The annexation goes that far.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions of Mr. Yagowski, or do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale,
Hi.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you so much for staying on it, and it's good news that we came in under bid. The next order of business is an insurance policy renewal. General Insurance Services is requesting the approval of the renewal of insurance policies for the Singing Sands Trail. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody. Charlie Keene, General Insurance Services. Here to discuss the liability renewals for the Singing Sands Trail agreement that the city has with various organizations. Just to give you a brief history, the Singing Sands Trail project created the need for multiple agreements between the city of Michigan City, the Chicago South Shore Railroad, Amtrak, and NIPSCO. The agreements have several insurance requirements that the city of Michigan City is required to satisfy. The insurance requirements are extensive and require coverage specific to the agreements. The initial insurance policies were effective January 1st, 2017, which was the date that the Chicago South Shore Railroad license agreement was effective. Just a brief summary of coverages. So first, there's three policies involved on the liability for the Singing Sands Trail. But by the way, this covers all the phases of the Singing Sands Trail, not just phase one that's specified in the agreement. The general liability coverage, $2 million aggregate, $1 million each occurrence. The first layer excess coverage, an additional $5 million each occurrence, $5 million aggregate. And the second layer excess coverage, $4 million each occurrence, $4 million aggregate. So 4x of 5 to give a total of $10 million of coverage for the trails. Annual premium, $51,545.31. If there aren't any questions, happy to take any questions you may have.
Does this cover even once we get the new trails built, it'll just kick in and cover basically everything?
We'll add that exposure once they are open.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Any questions with Charlie? Any questions about this coverage? Attorney LePage, you've looked at everything. You good with it?
I am.
When are the trails supposed to be open?
Oh man, that's a good question. I don't know. Right now,
Shannon is still working on the acquisition
Yes.
of property and easements for the final phase. So it actually will be probably coming to you in January, some additional parcels.
Yep, you may recall we've been signing off on parcels for acquisition. Those are part of what will eventually be the trail. Yeah. So I know Shannon probably would like for it to happen sooner than later. I would too. So probably would the rest of Michigan City. Okay. Any other questions of Charlie? Okay, hearing none, I'll open up for public comment. Any public comment on this item? Any public comment? Anything online? Okay, hearing no public comment, I'll close public comment. Any further questions of Charlie, or do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Mr. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Same to you. Okay. Our next order of business is personnel. The Human Resources Department is requesting the approval of policy 112, the drug and alcohol testing policy for the Federal Transit Authority, FTA. Ms. George, how are you do today?
Good afternoon, board. Hello. Tatanisha George, Human Resources Director, City of Michigan City. I have before you some real exciting news. It's really a bit of a sleeper. But a couple of months ago, I think in like approximately September, late August, we underwent, or the City of Michigan City's, the Transit Department, we underwent an audit. It was the first time that our specifically our drug and alcohol policy had been audited by the Federal Department of Transportation, or specifically the Federal Transit Administration. We were selected along with several agencies throughout Northwest Indiana. So it wasn't just Michigan City. It wasn't that we had anything that was wrong or any glaring omissions to our policy. I think they just looked at Northwest Indiana and says, we've never been there before. So they just showed up in droves and went to, I think the city of LaPorte was included, and a couple of other municipalities that have dollars that they receive for the Federal Transit Authority. Our Federal Transit Authority money comes to our transit department, our bus department. So there were several other items that they looked at, but our policy was one that they felt that needed to be updated. Our current policy is a policy where our regular safety sensitive employees, which would include police and fire, our federal motor motor carriers, which would be people like our refuse department and our street department, the CDL holders. And then of course, it would be the bus department, the Federal Transit Authority. Our current policy has everyone in one big group. So one of the suggestions or one of the recommendations from the Federal Transit Authority audit was that we separate the FTA, the Federal Transit Authority employees out of the entire, the one pot type of situation that we have now. It is the goal of the Human Resources Department to separate all three policies, where we would have three separate policies that would encompass our three separate types of employees, our CDL holders, our bus drivers, and our regular employees. So this is the first part to a very fun experience for us. I was able to work with a contractor from the Federal Transit Authority, and they helped a lot with making sure that we had the correct language and that everything was up to date. Our attorney reviewed it, corporate counsel reviewed it, so now it's before you to accept it. If this is accepted, then next year we will be back before you to have the other parts of the policy separated into, so that we would have three separate policies as they apply to each of our three types of employees: CDL holders, bus drivers, and then regular safety sensitive employees.
Any questions of our Human Resources Director? Any questions? Ms. Moore?
I don't have a question, but it seems like a lot of work and effort was put into this.
Yeah, it was 3 months. Yeah, it was back and forth, and they're very specific. You can't treat bus drivers like you treat regular CDL holders. Some of the specifications, it was a lot. I know more about drugs and alcohol than I really ever wanted to know, but
So with the audit, we were good?
yeah, pretty much.
Good.
There were a couple other findings. They went to the place where we do our drug and alcohol testing. They took a trip out to the facility that does that for us, and they went through a mock pre-employment screening type of situation. They looked at a couple of other things, but overall, City of Michigan City really did do well, considering it was a surprise audit. They let us know a month and a half in advance, and some of our policies did need to be updated.
Excellent.
What it also seems like is very, very specific. So you don't have to think about an employee. If something happens, it's here.
Yeah, and our current policy tends to be kind of confusing, because if you're just a regular fireman, for example, then we're treating a regular fireman like a person that actually holds a CDL. And so we want to make sure that each individual or each group of people are treated specifically based on what their current situation is with the city.
Any other questions of Ms. George? Okay, I'll open up for public comment. Any public comment on this item?
Yes, Tommy Klavick. First of all, firefighters are exempt from having a CDL. We need to find a different vendor besides the Franciscan Working Well Clinic. I can't begin to tell you all the issues we had with them in all those 18 years that I worked at ANCO. You know, we used to call it something else, not then it was the St. Anthony Working Well Clinic, but that place has been rotten for the last 40 years. Please, I even talked with Mayor Angie about this. We were back during the campaign. We were outdoor knocking together. Anywhere but there. There's all kinds, much better vendors than them. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Any other public comments? Anything online? Attorney LePage, do you have anything to add? Are you good on this? Good with this?
Just Robin Tillman does a great job with any of our
Sure.
audits. I've sat through several with her in the years, and she usually gets us through with phrases.
She runs a tight ship.
Mhm.
So, yes, very appreciative of her. Any other questions of Miss George on this? Okay, I'll close it. I'll close it up, and if I hearing none, do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
For a second,
Support.
call for the vote. Mr. Simmons,
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale,
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you so much. And hold on, where you go.
Yep.
Our next order of business is the Human Resources Department is requesting the approval of a job description for the administrative assistant for the Human Resources Department. So tell us a little bit about this.
Okay. In 2025, the position for administrative assistant, which is a comment 3 position, has been added to the Human Resources Department. It is in the current salary order. And this will make the Human Resources Department, number one, more effective because now it's currently a staff of 1. But with the addition of this position, this increases the number of people in the department, and we have at any given time at least 500 employees. So this will greatly add to the efficiency of the department.
Excellent. Any questions of Mr. George? I know you could use the help. I have no comments or questions on this. I'll just open it up for public comment. Any public comment on this? Any public comment? I'll close public comment. I do know this was in the salary ordinance, and I think all the money is appropriated for it. It's there. Any other questions or clarifications you would like, board? If not, then do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons.
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale.
Aye.
Ms. Moore.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, board.
All right. Our next order of business is an agreement for sponsorship. The Special Events Department is requesting the approval of an agreement of a premier level sponsorship from Arnett Construction for the 2025 event season in the amount of $20,000. Mr. Greetham, how you doing?
Terry Greetham, Michigan City Special Events. Obviously very excited to add Arnett Construction as a partner for the 2025 season. Great way to enter the season. They will be one of 2 premier partners that we have for 2025. So obviously, just very excited.
Excellent. Any questions about this sponsorship? Can you tell us the different levels of sponsor? Just curiosity.
Yeah, the premier level is the highest at $20,000. And we have a gold level at $10,000. We have a $5,000 sponsorship and a $2,500 sponsorship. Based on what we had last year with the hopes that we have everyone returning. And this one, as well as a couple more potential new ones, I think we have a very good shot of hitting our target sponsorship for 2025 of $100,000.
That's excellent. So anyone listening out there in the public, if you'd like to sponsor, please get a hold of Director Greetham. Any questions of the board? Any questions? Attorney LePage, you've reviewed all this. You're good.
It's fine. Yes.
Alrighty. I'll open it for public comment. Any public comment on this item? Any public comment? Yes. Mr. Euler.
Good evening. Dakota Euler, 718 Emma Street. Just wanted to take a second to thank special events, Michigan City, all the city officials, city departments, corporate sponsors. I think the 2024 events were just wonderful, and I look forward to a bigger and better 2025. Thank you.
Excellent. Any other public comments? Okay, hearing none, I'll close public comments. Do I hear a motion from the board? I'll make a motion to approve this this agreement for sponsorship of $20,000 from Arnett.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Miss Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank Arnett for the donut for providing the $20,000. We really appreciate that. Our next order of business is a sidewalk road closure request for construction. Gluth Brothers Roofing Company is requesting to close the sidewalk and parking spots in front of 519 Franklin Street to repair the roof at that location starting Monday, December 9th for 2 weeks. Mayor Angie had tentatively approved the closure due to the roof needing repaired before the weather turns bad. And I can tell a little bit about this. This was a kind of an emergency closure to get this done. And it needed to be done in a timely manner. So we had to get Mayor Angie to kind of do this ahead of time. So I think that we're bringing it to the board to retroactively get it approved. But I believe the roof is done at this point in time. So that's why it's here today.
The board previously approved this,
Previously
but
approved
due to weather delays, they couldn't
look at it.
complete the project back in, the original approval was November 14th.
So now they need to close it. Okay,
Yeah, so they just needed to amend the dates and.
just the dates.
Yeah, so what we're just looking for is just ratification of the mayor's decision here for the emergency basis.
So we're just ratifying it in retrospect. Got it. Any questions of this item? Any questions? Any public comments? Any public comments? I'll close public comments. I'll ask for a vote, or do I hear a motion to approve? Call for the vote.
Motion to approve the mayor's decision.
Yeah, I think that's the appropriate motion. I'll second it. Call for the vote, Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. All right, our last order of business here is for informational purposes only. An order granting Amtrak's petition for noise exemption that was filed on or about August 13th, 2024. And in conjunction with section 46-64 of the Michigan City Municipal Code. Is that all I need to say about that, or do I need to tell a little bit more about it?
It's your order, so if you want to share, go ahead.
So this was an exemption that was brought to the attention of the planning department, and it was approved with some conditions. The conditions of the demolition has to be done it has to have be sprayed and controlled, things of that nature, like any other demolition. And they need to provide a point person for us just in case there's anything that was to happen, so we would know who to call immediately. And that's really it, but they do plan to work for 24 hours a day for 13 days, I do believe it is.
The other thing we asked is, well, you asked is if they do anticipate street closures, that they come in front of this board at least 30 days in advance.
Yes, they would need to come back to the board at the time. They did not anticipate any closures, but that could happen. And then let me clarify. Amtrak must also provide and implement a dust management plan for that building. So yes, for all those reasons, yes. They have had it. I do believe they did environmental testing on it, and at this time they have not found anything environmentally sensitive to it. But we want to make sure that the dust doesn't get everywhere, so they will have to provide that.
Do they have a start date?
I think it's September, yeah.
Yeah, but they needed this as part of their approval process.
Oh, before they can
Mhm.
start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, without this, basically it was gonna be months long and basically I don't even know if they were gonna do the project at that point in time. But the thing has become um it's become an issue, and also 8 trains a day go underneath it, passenger trains. Hence the need to do something with it. It would be a different story if it was beside the track rather than going whether the track's going underneath it. So okay. Our last order of business, or well, one of our last orders of business today, our next order of business is a payroll and claims docket for December 13th, 2024. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Support.
I'll call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Next order of business is a claims docket for December 16th, 2024. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Support.
Call for the vote. Mr. Simmons?
Aye.
Ms. Tisdale?
Aye.
Ms. Moore?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. We do have an unfinished business item. This is a street enhancement. Councilman Don Prespolinski is requesting for the Board of Works to contact CSX Railroad for a project start date to fix the railroad crossing at Woodland Ave. This was tabled from August 19th, 2024. I do believe that Engineer Warner has reached out to Senator Braun's office, and that I do believe he got a correspondence back. I'm just not sure what the correspondence back was. So I don't know where we're at with that. So maybe we'll just keep that on there. And obviously, until it's fixed, we probably should keep it on there.
Yeah, we're agreed to keep it on.
Yeah. But I do know that he reached out to Senator Braun's office, and I do believe they've been having a correspondence back and forth. And I don't see him today. See if there's anything else on here. Is that it for our unfinished business? I think so. Open up for public comment. Any public comment?
Hi, Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. Happy holidays, everybody. And I think we'd all be remiss if we all didn't wish the Miss Lovely Linda Simmons a very happy retirement from her position as marketing director at the LaPorte County Convention and Visitors Bureau. Now, Ben Van Versi's got to be taking her spot. Real good choice to take over for her. I hope they enjoy many happy years of their retirement together. And just want to thank you for all year for tolerating putting up with all my mass emails, and maybe just always let me coming up here and running my rabble rouser to all your meetings. And just want to wish everybody happy holidays again, and everybody, and have a good day.
Same to you, Tommy. Absolutely.
Ernie Callahan, 302 Gladys Street. In regard to that crossing at Woodland, I've been on that for over a year myself. I even spoke with the guys when they were working on Garfield and asked them, why did you skip Woodland and come down to Garfield? They did Jackson, they skipped Woodland, went to Garfield, went out to Royal Road, did all of them, but not Woodland. And the material's still laying there for them to fix Woodland. So something's in the works of why they skipped that one. And then they did say they were going to do that one when our paving was over. Our paving ended and nothing happened. So they're jacking somebody around. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Anything online? Any public comments? Okay, hearing none, I'll close public comments. Any board comments? Any board comments? Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Good night.